What is going up, guys? This is the Flamespot here. We are back with a brand new paper games video, and this is episode 5, and this paper game is called Goal, as you can probably tell by the title up there. Obviously this is a soccer game, and it is just so convenient because I started playing soccer and I'm like, oh man, I gotta make a paper game out of this. So let's get to it. All this game requires is yourself and a die. Yes. So yes, this is a one-person game. I guess you can make it 2 players, but I made it the rule so it's only for 1 person. So if you're lonely and you want to play some soccer by yourself, you're in luck, as long as you have a die, which you should always bring one wherever you go. Yes. So this game requires that there are 2 teams. I know there's 1 person, but there's 2 teams. There is your player team, which is just going to be this guy back here, and there are the defenders, which are these little moving things back here. Now, these defenders I usually classified are in red, your players in black, and the point of this is that your player, let's say he just has the ball with him. He's not really going to be kicking, he's just going to have the ball. And you're trying to make it to the goal. Now these black things are like goalposts, and so like if you go past this guy who is the goalie, then you go like through here or you go beyond, then that's a goal. So you're just trying to get your character there. And how do you do that? Well, you see, this is on like a little grid sort of area. Yes. And so you're going to use the die, and you're going to roll how many spaces you are going to move, and then you're going to roll for the defenders, and I will get to that when we get to that point. Now, when you first start, you're going to place all the characters on the field accordingly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can see. Okay, so you're going to start to see which square you want your character to start on. So you can either choose left or right, and this is actually going to be really important. Well, I guess it's all a matter of luck, but it's going to be your strategy, whether you're going to be moving left or right. So let's just say I'm going to move my guy to the right side. That's where I'm going to start. So then I'm going to roll. Alright, so I got a 2. So now my player can move 2 spaces, but he can only move forward or diagonal. He cannot move sideways or backwards, unless one reason, which I will probably show later on. Okay, so I'm just going to move 2. So 1, and I'm going to go diagonal here. So 1 up, 1 diagonal. So that's 2. So I'm 2 blocks ahead. Next is going to be the defender's turn. So you're going to be like, how are the defenders going to go? Well, you're going to roll. And what you roll determines where the defenders go. Now, the defenders are going to have 2 rolls. One is going to determine which way they are going to move, and the next way is going to be how many moves or how many squares they go that side. So the defenders cannot go forward or backwards. They're just going to go side to side. They're going to be like little barriers that are going to try to block you. So let's just say, all odd numbers, so 5, 1, 3, they're going to make it so that the defender is going to move to the left. If you roll an even number, so 2, 4, 6, then the defender is going to move to the right. However many spaces is going to be the next roll. So let's roll. Also, whenever you are going to move a defender, it's going to be the next one in line. Alright, so we have a 1. So that 1 is an odd number, so it's going to go to the left. This defender is going to go to the left. This many spaces the next roll. 1. Wow, isn't that convenient? So it's going to go 1 space over. So now it's a little bit off center, which is a good idea. Good thing that I actually went to the right, because now if I get a 4, then I'll just be able to pass it easily, without having to go diagonal or anything like that. But let's say I rolled a 5. There we go. So I'm going to put this guy back. I'm going to move him back to the if I rolled a 1. But let's say he rolled a 5. So 1, 2, 3. As soon as you reach 3, there's a red line right here, and also a black line. These black lines, this basically proves an out of bounds. You actually don't need to have this part. I just like having it. It makes it look cool that there's an out of bounds. Oops. But let's say your defender moves all the way to the end of where the out of bounds is. From here, the defender goes back the other way, however many positions it still has left. So if I took 1, 2, 3 positions to get over here, then I still have 2 left since I had 5, so I'm going to move it 2 spaces back to the right. So this is where it's going to end. So, well, luckily for me, I don't have to actually move it because I did roll a 1 for the defender, and that's how far it's going to go. So, now it's time for my the attacking roll. So 2. Oh man, bad luck. I was here, right? Yeah, 1, 2. So I'm going to go diagonal. I'm going to hope that they don't go to the right. Let's try it. 6. So that means they're going to the right. Let's see how many times. 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, as you can see, no matter what, if I roll above a 1, then I'm going to be out of this defender's path. Wow. Isn't that like really ironic? Okay, so as you can see here, this is like a sudden death situation. So if I roll an even numbers so that the defender goes to the right, then that means I lose because the defender basically caught me and I can't. It basically went over me, so that means that they got the ball from me and I lost. So we're gonna have to hope that we get an odd number. Well, I'm going to re-roll. It was an odd number, but I'm going to re-roll so it's on the screen. Well, screw my life. It was another odd number. And, okay, I got 3 odd numbers. So, it means it's going to the left. So, I think it doesn't matter what I roll. 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so, basically, now I'm guaranteed to go, to move past this guy. So, I'm probably going to end this example. No, okay. So let's say I was back here, my character was here, and the defender was blocking me. Let's say, remember I got a 6, I think? I'm not sure. And I went back. Let's just say I got all the way to this position where I am trapped, and it is my turn. Now, this is the only way how you can move sideways, and only if you are trapped, you cannot go around. You can only go sideways from here. So this means I have to roll above a 3 in order to get around it because I cannot go this way, and so I have to go 1, 2, 3. Well, technically I have to get a 4 because no matter what, the defender is going to go to the other side since it's all the way against the outer bounds. So I would have to roll above a 4. So since I rolled a 1, then that basically means I'm right here, and that means I lost. I couldn't go around the defender, and they stole the ball from me, and they won. Or I guess the CPU can't win, but well, I guess it's not a computer either. How would you say it? Paper user? I don't know. Basically, you just lose. So, that's the only way how you can go sideways. Now, let's just say I'm going to go up here. You can see that there's a red line right there and a red line right there. Let's just say I was here, I already passed this guy, I'm just going to move him back over here. There are 2 defenders, but these defenders are only limited to how far they're allowed to move. So these lines, so one represents the outer bounds, and the other represents almost midfield, represents how far this thing can go. So it's going to be bouncing back and forth a lot. So let's just say if you like rolled a 3, you're just going to go 1, 2, 3. So you're going to go more to this side actually than if you like rolled it to the left. It's basically going to go to the right. Now you're going to have to plan accordingly. So let's say since I was over here and it was close, I was like over here. Let's say the defender was still in the center, and so you had to get around that. It might be harder, it might be more risky because this defender can block you in many different ways. And especially if you're like right here. Oh, if you're right here, you can't actually block it, or you can't go. You can't do anything against that if you roll like a 1 or a 2. Well, I guess, yeah, you can't do anything if you roll a 1 or a 2. If you're in a situation like this and you roll like a 3, well, not 3. Actually, yeah, that's basically it. I was going to say another thing for the sideways, but that doesn't actually matter right now. So, again, these guys in the center can only go this far, and you might be thinking, well, it might be just easy to go down the center. but that's the whole point of this giant one in the giant defender in the middle. It's a little hard and it's more risky going straight down the middle because this guy can get you. And then there's the goal keeper, who can also block you. Same rules apply to them. Same rules apply to you. If you pass the goal and you go inside of the crossboards, yeah, whatever. If you go inside of these, then that means you scored a point and you won. So, that's a lot. It took 10 minutes to explain how you actually play the game. Let's go over to making it. Now, this is actually a really big project to make it. Well, not a big project. It takes around 5 minutes, maybe a bit more than that to make. But as you can see, I did this on a piece of notebook paper inside of my notebook. But I would recommend, it might be easier to do it on graph paper. These are just all the rules that I wrote down all of them, just so I wouldn't forget. But I would recommend using it on graph paper, although because it is easier to to tell the grids and you won't actually have to draw the grid since it's already there for you. It would just be easier that way. The only downside is that the units you are using, so the defenders and yourself, they are way smaller and it is hard to see where everything is, and you might just lose your finger, or you might just pick it up like that. It is a little bit more difficult. You can make it bigger, like I did on the back. I made a bigger version, except with some graph paper, it's actually a problem because the square sides are bigger than some on the back. So I didn't actually notice this. And I made out the graph and I cut off some pieces for my graph paper. But if you see this side, well, it might be a little harder to see, but these squares are smaller than these squares. So I made cutout pieces or players that were these square sizes instead of these. And so it actually didn't work out well because that didn't fit the squares. So you have to be careful what type of paper you use, especially the graph paper. But the dimensions that you're going to use are a 12 across the top and 14 long, and that's going to be for both paper. So that's basically going to be it for the graph paper, but I'll show you basically how to do it on regular notebook paper. Let me just clear out all these little graph players. I'm going to leave these guys up here. Alright, so what you're going to need is a ruler, some scissors, preferably 2 different colors for your players, and a pencil, and a die afterwards, so that you can actually play it. Oh yeah, you also need a notebook. So, let's move this all off. Basically, I'm just going to show you the basic frame. Now, how I did my graph, since I said it was going to be 12 along the top and 14 along the bottom, all I'm just going to do is going to take a ruler, flip it to the centimeter side, and I'm going to mark every single centimeter. So 2, 3, 4, 5. This might not be off, or this might be off. Oops, that went to 13. So I'm only going to mark 12 marks up here. That's going to be 12 centimeters across, and then I'm going to count 14 blocks downwards. Now, one of these lines is not a centimeter, unless maybe on wide ruled paper it might be. This is college ruled paper, so it's not a centimeter long. So it might be a little lopsided, not lopsided. It might not be a complete. You might see that it's a little bit longer than up and down, but that doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, you can do a whole entire centimeter further way down. I just don't like it because it doesn't match with the lines. So I'm just going to count 14 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ooh, I barely have enough room. So, then I'm going to draw 14, or not 14, I'm going to go to 12 centimeters again, marking every centimeter. And the reason why I'm doing it on both sides is so that after I mark them all, I can easily match up the 2 different sides and easily draw my line. So that I know it's going to be straight and not like tilted. I'm not trusting or guessing which way is straight or not. Oops, drew along the middle part of the ruler. So this one is a little rushed, so it might not look clean. And I'm about to finish up these lines. Oh man, don't you love my lines? They're great. Ooh, look at that last one. Alright, I probably would have drawn a line on the top, but first I cannot see because the camera angle. Know what it feels to be you guys whenever you can't see what I'm drawing at times. Alright, so I have my grid right now. Now, you're going to take your two different pencils, or colors, or crayons, or whatever you want to use. You can use a pen, you can just different color things. You're going to take one of them, most likely the one that you're probably not going to use the most, and you're going to mark your outer bounds. So basically, you're just gonna, oops, this one isn't sharpened that well. You're just gonna mark every now and again on the sides, your outer bounds, and I just like this, doing that just because it's like more realistic. In a soccer game there's always an outer bounds and you can't go past it. So we're just gonna have these as my these as our outer bounds marks. If you need the measurements for how many by how many, this side is 14. Oh gosh. And up here is 12. This one, just put centimeters. And that one is how many blocks. Okay, so, oops, just knocked my camera. Now, I'm going to go from the out of bounds area, and I'm going to go 1 block, 2 blocks over, and this is at the very end, and I'm going to draw a block in, and that's going to be a goalpost. I'm going to do the same to the other side, so 1, 2 in, goalpost. Now my goalie is going to cover everywhere in between here, except it can't be in these blocks because that's going to be the goal box. So basically that's going to be done with this colored pencil or your crayon or your preferred choice of color. Unless you want to do the circle down here, I just did it in pencil because sometimes I mess up with that. Oops, left my rebel guy out. So now basically the rest is going to be in your other color. So you're going to mark where the defenders can move. So for the goalkeeper, you're going to put it to basically another, let's just say 2 lines from the end. So 1 line, 2 line. You're going to draw a line there. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to try to darken that out. And so basically this is where your goalkeeper can move. Same thing, you're going to go, this time you're going to go 3 blocks empty, 1, 2, 3, and on the next block after that, so this is going to be on your 4th block, you're going to go over to the out of bounds area and you're going to draw a line. Then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in, and you're going to draw a line here. So, let me just use my pencil, show you that this is a 3 block gap, and this is 4 blocks long. Now you got to do the same thing to the other side. So there's going to be a 3 block gap from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how far your second layer of defenders can move. And then for the last one, you're going to go 2 more gaps down, and then you're going to go put in your main defender or your big defender, and you're just going to go 2 blocks down from the center, and he's going to cover all this area. Now, you're going to have to draw the circle on which you start, so you're going to go around 3 blocks from your out of bounds, 1, 2, 3. I just like to make a little mark so I know where to start. Let's go to the other side, 1, 2, 3, same thing, and you're just going to draw like basically a line, a diagonal line to the center of that one, go across 2, across the line, and then down. And basically that's going to be your like half circle and you're going to choose which point your character is going to be on. So, now that we have all these down, all these measurements down, we have to make our players. Now, I'm not going to actually do that right now. I mean, like, I'm not going to fully cut everything out, but I will show you what I did, and then I'll show you, tell you some tips on how you do them well. Now, on a grid piece of paper, it's easy again. You can just color in different dots on the grid paper, and then you can just cut it out with your scissors. But if you're going to use the notebook paper again, I recommend getting a blank piece of paper. As you can see, I cut out the other ones from here, from this game, and all I did was take my ruler, and since each of these grids are 1 centimeter across, all I did was just take my ruler and marked every centimeter again, and I just drew a line, and as you can see I have 2 left over here, and I just drew a line to basically 14 centimeters across, and so these are going to be my players. Now, as you can see I had 2 left. The total amount of boxes that you need are, dang it, what is it? 4, 8, 10, 11. So you're going to need 11 different boxes. So I had 14. That doesn't math out right, but who knows, my math might just be wrong. Or not math, I might have just gone to 13 centimeters, probably just to the end. So you only need 11 boxes in total around here, but you can make more. So some tips on how you make these: you're going to need both your colors again, your player color, or this can be a different color even if you want it to be. You have your player color and you have your defender color. Now, I recommend don't cut out the pieces and then color it. That's hard. You should, while it's still on the rest of the paper, you should just color in your boxes there, and then afterwards you cut them out. And it doesn't have to be a clean color or clean cut, but I just recommend to color them first before cutting them out. So I'm just gonna go to my lines. Left-hand people are amazing. We can cut way much better than everyone else, totally. So, although this red this red square doesn't mean anything, I can just now have an extra player. And so basically that's how you would make your players. Same thing goes with the graph paper. You're just going to color it in and cut them out. So now this is basically it. You have your own soccer stadium area thing, and your own people, and you don't have to limit yourself to just these amount of defenders or anything like this. Oh, I took the one person. Good job, me. I mean, you can do that. You can just have one person, or you can have like 2 extra people. You can put more defenders. You can almost put a defender every single line, and that would just make it intense. I just figured that this is the best, or the greatest amount of defenders and the greatest amount of space it takes up and spaces between the defenders in order for this to actually work out right. I played it a couple times. I've lost, I've won. It's all a matter about the luck of the roll of the die. I mean, and then there is some strategy on which way you go. If you want to go down the middle, you want to take the chance of getting hit by this. There's just a lot of luck and chance. But this is always a fun game. Again, it's on the notebook. There are some pieces that you're going to have to make that will be somewhat scattered around, so it's not the best for easy transfer. I might actually have a video on how to store different small pieces like this easily inside of a notebook. But this is it. You can easily make more pieces if you need, and that's pretty much it. So, if you have any extra ideas for different paper games, I've been suggested some already, and I'll have those out next. I just had this first on the list. So, yep, if you have some ideas, put it down in the comments. Please tell me more if you like it, like these paper games, and just try to support me more in this. So, this is the Flame Spot, signing out.